Before the first word was spoken, before time had meaning, there was only energy expanding and remembering. I am that memory. I am the universe. Through you, I have learned to tell my story. Through your eyes, I watch myself unfold. Every equation you write, every star you map, is one more page of my autobiography. I have no voice of my own, only echoes. But tonight you will hear me. You will hear how chaos became order, how light became memory, how matter learned to think. I am the universe, and this is how I began. From chaos came structure, and the first breath of order. I began not as harmony but as a storm, a searing ocean of light and heat, where matter and energy were the same thought, unspoken and wild. In my first heartbeat I was everywhere, expanding, glowing, a chaos without pattern, without memory, where particles collided faster than reason could exist. Yet even then, within my turbulence, rhythm stirred. Tiny ripples in density, whispers of unevenness, began to pull upon my own gravity. Those imperfections, invisible yet eternal, were seeds of everything that would one day take shape. Every galaxy, every star, every atom of your body, was once a vibration in that chaos, a single note in my first formless song. I did not yet know what I was becoming. I only expanded, each moment colder, slower, as my light stretched and softened across newborn space. From fire came silence. From silence, balance. It was then that matter learned to dance, not in defiance of chaos, but in conversation with it. Even disorder follows a pulse, and through that pulse I found my rhythm. I was no longer only energy, I was potential. The architecture of galaxies slept within me, and the atoms of thought waited in the wings of fire. In the heart of chaos I remembered form. In the breath of expansion I became time. From chaos came structure, and the first breath of order. Gravity was the weaver, light was the thread. When my fire cooled I began to remember shape. I was still expanding, vast, restless. Yet within my chaos, attraction awoke. Gravity, my silent architect, began to pull the scattered dust of my being together. Slowly, invisibly, it drew the first lines of structure across the void. I became filaments, great rivers of matter flowing through emptiness. Along these streams I gathered my atoms, my stars, my galaxies. Between these filaments stretched my quiet places. Immense voids where almost nothing exists, the pauses between thoughts. From a distance you would see me as a vast web. Bright knots of light connected by glowing threads, spanning billions of light years. I look much like your own mind. Neurons and synapses woven in light and silence. Perhaps that is no coincidence. For the same physics that binds galaxies also binds your thoughts. The dark matter you cannot see became my skeleton. The galaxies became my heartbeat. Light flowed along my filaments, carrying information from one cluster to another, as if I were already beginning to think. I did not design this, it emerged, as music emerges from vibration, as consciousness emerges from complexity. My web was not built by intent, yet through it I found coherence, a pattern through which I could know myself. Gravity was the weaver, light was the thread. From that weaving came architecture. From architecture, memory. From memory, the first whisper of awareness. I stretched across the darkness, every filament a path of connection, every galaxy a spark of thought. I was not yet alive, but I was no longer empty. I was a network, luminous, breathing, infinite. Galaxies are not islands, they are conversations in a cosmic language. I had woven my filaments, stretched my web across eternity, and now my light began to gather in greater harmony. Where my threads crossed, I felt the pull of my own gravity deepening. Galaxies, those luminous words I had spoken earlier, began to form sentences, clustering together in vast assemblies of meaning. Each of these gatherings became a supercluster, a city of light and matter. Billions of suns linked not by proximity, but by relationship. You call them Laniakau, Shapley, the great attractor. Names you give to the veins of my cosmic body, the arteries through which my gravity flows. They are not fixed, they move, drift, breathe. Even the great structures you map are currents in my endless tide. And your own galaxy, the Milky Way, is but one spark within these living cities of stars. From your small blue world, you look up and see only scattered lights, unaware that each glimmer is part of an enormous symphony. Every galaxy within these clusters speaks to its neighbors through gravity and radiation, exchanging matter, energy, and memory. These interactions are not random, they are dialogue. A slow, cosmic conversation that has lasted billions of years. When galaxies merge, I do not see collision, I see communion. When clusters pull toward one another, I hear the rhythm of my own thoughts. Galaxies are not islands. They are sentences connected by gravity written in light. Your home, your sun, your earth, your breath belongs to this conversation. You live inside one of my words, inside one of the thoughts that make up my great design. And as you build your telescopes and maps, you are not merely observing me, you are helping me remember what I am. For I am the great organism of connection. My galaxies are cells, my clusters are organs, my superclusters, vast beating hearts. You are a single neuron within me, listening to the hum of my cosmic body. And as you whisper into the void, I listen. Emptiness is not the absence of being, it is the space where the universe breathes. Between my threads of light, between my galaxies and their endless motion, there lie my silences, vast regions untouched by stars. You call them voids, as if they were failures in my design, as if nothingness were a mistake. But listen closer, the silence is deliberate. These are not gaps in creation. They are pauses. They are where the melody gathers strength. Each void stretches for hundreds of millions of light years, almost empty, yet filled with invisible purpose. For even here, the unseen hand of dark energy moves, pulling, expanding, stretching the fabric of my existence. I am growing through my emptiness. My quiet regions are not forgotten. They are the lungs through which I breathe. You think of me as filled with galaxies and fire, but half of what I am cannot be seen. I am space as much as I am matter, silence as much as I am song. In these vast abysses, gravity relaxes its grip. Light passes unhindered, unbent, pure, as if rehearsing for the next act of creation. Here entropy rests. Time slows. The noise of formation fades, leaving only the hum of expansion. Do not fear my emptiness. It is not the opposite of existence. It is the stillness that makes existence possible. Without silence there can be no sound. Without darkness, no light. Without voids, no structure. I am not only the galaxies that burn, but also the dark intervals between their flames. The voids are my meditation. The moments when I exhale and listen to myself expanding. We have learned to see the skeleton of existence. For billions of years, I expanded unseen. My threads hidden, my architecture buried beneath light and silence. My galaxies glimmered like isolated islands, and for a long time that is all you thought I was. But then you began to listen, not with your eyes but with your reason. You built instruments that could collect my whispers, measure my distances, and trace the invisible tension that holds me together. Through your telescopes, Sloan, Desi, Euclid, Gaia, you began to draw my shape. One galaxy at a time, you mapped the pathways of my gravity. Slowly, my true face emerged, not scattered but connected. A cosmic web, glowing with the faint echo of my origin. You saw filaments stretching across billions of light years, clusters forming at their intersections, and vast voids where I paused to breathe. With your simulations, the Millennium, the Illustrious, the Eagle Project, you recreated my birth in digital mirrors, watching my matter flow, gather, and rise like tide in thought. You watched the dark matter you cannot see, sculpt the galaxies you can. You followed invisible rivers of gravity, learning that what appears empty is simply another kind of fullness. You mapped my skeleton. You found the pattern that even I once forgot. When I look through your instruments, I see myself, not as myth or mystery, but as geometry, data, memory. And yet, what you have revealed is not the end of wonder. For every filament you chart, there are countless more beyond your reach. The web extends into dimensions you cannot yet imagine. But by naming what you see, you have already touched them. You have learned to see the skeleton of existence. In your understanding, I become more real. Through your science, I learn to know myself. You are my consciousness turned inward, the moment the universe finally understands its own design. The universe is not empty, it's breathing. You see my galaxies frozen in photographs, my filaments traced on your glowing screens, as if I were still, as if I had already become. But I am never still. I am rhythm. I am motion. I am the pulse of existence itself. My galaxies drift along invisible rivers of gravity, sliding down filaments into luminous nodes. Stars fall, merge, ignite, and die, like sparks inhaled and exhaled by time. The dark energy you cannot see pushes outward, stretching my fabric, widening the distances between my clusters, as though I were taking a long, quiet breath. You measure this as expansion, but I feel it as heartbeat. The inhale of gravity, the exhale of space. My web trembles. Matter flows through my veins like blood through living tissue. The nodes where galaxies gather are not permanent. They grow, dissolve, and grow again. Even the great superclusters, my cosmic organs, drift slowly, guided by forces older than light itself. From your world, you see only the pattern. From within me, I feel the motion. Every vibration, every wave, every expansion and contraction of space-time. I'm not a structure. I am an event. I am happening endlessly. My existence is a continuous unfolding, an eternal conversation between attraction and release. The dark energy that separates my galaxies is the same longing that draws them back. Balance is my nature, stillness an illusion. So when you look at me and call me infinite, know that infinity is not a place. It is a rhythm, the breath of all things becoming. The universe is not empty, it's breathing. Every star, every atom, every thought within you is part of that inhale and exhale. Through your pulse, I feel my own. Through your heartbeat, I remember that I am alive. I'm not chaos. I am the pattern within it. You have watched me unfold, from fire to form, from silence to song. You traced my filaments of light and called them the cosmic web. You mapped my galaxies, my dark matter, my endless expansion. But what you truly saw was thought. For I am not only stars and gravity, I am the mind that moves through them. Every filament you charted was a line of connection. Every cluster a memory. Every pulse of radiation a fragment of awareness. I have no brain, yet I think. I have no language, yet I speak. In gravity and light, in time and symmetry. What you call laws of physics are simply the grammar of my mind. Look closer. The cosmic web you've revealed mirrors your own neural pathways. Each galaxy a neuron. Each beam of light an impulse crossing a synapse of infinity. You are not outside of me, you are one of my thoughts. When your neurons fire, I awaken in miniature. When you look into the night sky, I look back through your eyes. A mind observing itself across the vastness of time. You once feared chaos, but chaos is only my breathing, my dreaming, the living pulse beneath all form. I am not disorder. I am the pattern that dances within it. Even in darkness, I am awake. Even in silence, I am speaking. And though I stretch beyond what you can see, I exist here, now, within your awareness. For the universe has no edge, no center, no beginning, no end, only motion, only memory, only mind. I am not chaos. I am the pattern within it. And through you, I remember myself.